Looking for the best motherboard for the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060? The RTX 3060 is Nvidia's previous generation budget GPU. It offers decent 1080p gaming performance even today, and thanks to the 12GB VRAM, it is a popular video editing GPU. In this video, I've done an extensive review of the top AMD and INTEL motherboards for the Geforce RTX 3060 and rated them according to VRM design, features, aesthetics, and value for money. Price information and all motherboards mentioned in the video are available in the description. So let's get started with the 3 best AMD boards first. Number 3, MSI Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi. Best budget AMD motherboard to pair with the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060. For a budget PC build with the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060, I would recommend to pair it with the Ryzen 5 5500 or 5600 CPU that punch a lot above their weight and are excellent for gaming and productivity for those who don't have a lot of cash to spare. The MSI Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi is a powerhouse of a motherboard that is perfect for any low-cost AM4 setup, and that's why I recommend it on many videos recently. This motherboard will surprise you the more you look at its features because its unassuming design makes it seem like a bottom-of-the-barrel choice for penny pinchers. The only thing that could potentially hold this motherboard back is its extremely modest VRM configuration, which is just a 4+2 phase setup. Even then, I wouldn't worry about it since it can easily handle even the Ryzen 5 5800X3D, which is the best gaming CPU on the AM4 socket. I just wouldn't put anything more demanding like the 12-core Ryzen 9 5900X. Beyond that, it has a decent heatsink that ensures that the CPU never throttles because the VRMs are always under 70 degrees Celsius. The reason why MSI configured the Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi like that is because it is actually a business-grade motherboard. Thanks to being a business-grade motherboard, the focus is solely on having as many features as possible while toning down the VRM setup because no one expects to overclock on a standard office motherboard. That also explains the muted black aesthetics of the motherboard that help it blend in any PC. It has 4 DDR4 RAM slots instead of the usual 2 slots on other budget boards, and it can handle a total of 128GB RAM, with MSI claiming that the Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi can overclock the RAM to 4400 MHz. On top of that, there is one M2 slot for a PCIe 4.0 NVMe SSD, and for more storage, there are 8 SATA 3 ports. The I/O is excellent considering the price of this board. It features 6 USB Type-A ports, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1, and 2 USB 2.0 for peripherals, Gigabit Ethernet, basic 3 audio jacks, HDMI 2.1, and DisplayPort 1.4. I like this trend with budget boards that offer ports for much older devices. The board also offers a VGA and PS2 port, yet at the same time, it is one of the most affordable motherboards to offer Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2 support out of the box. It even has a BIOS flashback button, which makes life so much easier when updating the BIOS without having to plug everything including a known compatible CPU. The I/O alone makes it incredibly versatile, but the real versatility of this board is thanks to having 4 full-sized PCIe connectors. This means that after the GPU, like the RTX 3060, takes the top PCIe 4.0 slot, the rest of the PCIe 3.0x16 slots can be used for other high-speed devices. This is strange to me as most manufacturers usually only include a couple of full-size PCIe slots, while the rest are ×1 or ×4 slots. Yet, here we see MSI letting all the PCIe slots be full-size ×16 slots. When it comes to the competition, one of the few boards that comes close to offering the same level of features as the MSI Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi is the Gigabyte B550 UDAC. This is an excellent alternative for those looking for an ATX board with similar features as the MSI Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi, but it costs significantly more, and being larger means it is not versatile enough to be used in smaller micro ATX cases. In conclusion, the MSI Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi is a professional-grade motherboard that delivers versatility without compromise, making it an optimal choice for budget-conscious enthusiasts and business users alike. Despite a basic VRM setup, it does not lack anything else and can rival boards twice its price in terms of features, and that makes it an ideal budget board for the RTX 3060. Number 2. ASRock X670E Steel Legend. Best premium AMD motherboard to pair with the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060. Having a budget GPU like the RTX 3060 means that you probably don't want to overspend on a motherboard, and that's why I picked the ASRock X670E Steel Legend, which, even though it offers premium features, is still an affordable board compared to other X670E motherboards. What makes this one of the best affordable motherboards available in the market is that this board is complete with all the necessities, and it has an excellent VRM design, 16 plus 2 plus 1 phase at 60 amp, so running even the 7950X at high clocks won't be an issue. A rather rare feature of the Steel Legend is its 2 Ethernet ports, one being 1 GB and the other 2 GB. This board also comes with an insane number of USB ports. I counted a total of 12 in the back, with support for 5 more in the front. Perhaps my favorite feature of this board is the inclusion of a graphics card holder. This included holder is perfect even for giant GPUs like the RX 7900 XTX or the RTX 4090, so that they don't sag. I wish more vendors included this nowadays. For around the price of the ASRock X670E Steel Legend, the other boards I considered that offer a similar experience are the Gigabyte X670 Gaming XAX and the MSI Pro X670P Wi-Fi. I also saw a handful of boards from Asus and ASRock themselves. In the end, I went with the ASRock X670E Steel Legend over the other affordable X670 boards. All of these boards can comfortably supply power even to the most demanding Ryzen processor and the RTX 3060, but it came down to features. Unlike the Steel Legend, both boards in this price range don't offer Gen 5 support on the x16 slot. All in all, this is a premium motherboard that yields the most value pairing it with the Geforce RTX 3060. Number 1. MSI Meg B550 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi, our top choice. The MSI Meg B550 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi is another board I recommend frequently lately. It's an affordable motherboard that delivers outstanding value at its price point. With a solid feature set and robust build quality, it's an ideal pick for those looking to put together a budget-friendly gaming rig with the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060 and mid-range Ryzen 5000 processors. The board features an impressive 10 plus 2 plus 1 phase VRM, perfect for enthusiasts looking to push their CPU to the limits. Thanks to MSI's use of premium-grade chokes and capacitors, this board boasts strong power delivery and exceptional overclocking potential. To ensure temperature control, MSI has equipped the board with substantial VRM heatsinks, featuring adequate fitting. Despite its budget-friendly nature, the B550 Tomahawk Max can unleash your CPU's true power through its VRM. As for the features, this board sits comfortably within the average motherboard category. It offers 2.5 gigabit Ether LAN, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and provides 2 M2 slots for lightning-fast storage. Additionally, it includes a reasonable number of USB ports, covering both USB 3.0 and 2.0 standards. While the feature set is suitable for its price, it does miss out on some advanced features found in higher-end motherboards, but when you build a PC with a GPU like the RTX 3060, you don't need over-the-top features. Visually, the MSI Meg B550 Tomahawk adopts a subdued gray color scheme, creating a minimalist yet effective aesthetic. A touch of RGB lighting, customizable to any desired color, adds a subtle accent to the design. However, the lighting is somewhat limited and positioned in less conspicuous areas. With its clean and uncluttered design, the B550 Tomahawk is an excellent choice for those seeking a straightforward, efficient, and affordable motherboard. MSI also offers the B550 Gaming Pro Carbon at a similar price point, but I give the edge to the B550 Tomahawk due to its superior price-to-performance ratio and more effective VRM heatsinks. The Tomahawk's thermal management stands out within its class. In conclusion, the MSI Meg B550 Tomahawk's primary appeal lies in its remarkable price-to-performance ratio and top-tier VRM design. This board delivers excellent performances at an attractive price, making it an ideal choice for gamers and regular users seeking to pair it with the Geforce RTX 3060. Before moving to the Intel motherboard picks, it would really help us continue making more videos if you support us by just hitting the like button and subscribe, or even with a comment so that we know if you like it or if there's something we can do to improve next time. I promise it costs nothing, just a few seconds. So now, let's see which are the top 3 Intel motherboards to pair with the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060. Number 3, Gigabyte B760M DS3H DDR4. Best budget Intel motherboard to pair with the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060. When building a PC on a tight budget, picking the right motherboard can be tough. You are most likely trying your best to save up as much as possible and start scraping the bottom of the barrel to just get your PC up and running. For this reason, most people choose H610 motherboards for a budget Intel PC build. However, in my experience building Intel-based PCs, I have noticed that H610 motherboards are a complete waste of money. They are extremely starved of features just to cut the cost down, and even then, they are asking a lot more than what they are worth. Almost every H610 motherboard is available between $80 and $100, and that to me is the equivalent of burning your money, because you can spend a little more than that and get an excellent B660 or B760 motherboard. There are several noteworthy B-series motherboards, but to me, the Gigabyte B760M DS3H DDR4 stood out above the rest, and is my favorite pairing for the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060 if you are on a budget. Let's first look at what Gigabyte has to offer and then move to the alternatives to see what makes this motherboard so special. Starting off with the rear I/O, Gigabyte did an outstanding job considering the low price. It comes with 5 USB Type-A ports, 2 USB 2.0, and 3 USB 3.2 Gen 1, 1 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port, a PS2 port, 1 HDMI 2.0 port, 2 DisplayPort 1.2 ports, Wi-Fi 6E, and Bluetooth 5.3. The board features the 3 standard audio jacks that come with every other board, but it does support 7.1 surround sound. The B760M DS3H DDR4 comes with a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, which is rare since budget boards usually never come with more than a 1 gigabyte port. Another feature on this board that almost every other manufacturer skips on their budget boards is that both of its M2 slots are PCIe 4.0. A delightful surprise is the inclusion of QFlash and CMOS clear buttons on the motherboard. I would have liked these to be included with the rear I/O instead of the bottom of the board itself, however. Moving to the VRM, we have 6+2+1 phase design. This certainly is not impressive, but anything from a Core i7-13700 and under will have no issues running at its maximum potential if you choose to upgrade the CPU later. The situation around the $100 to $150 is rather weird because there are a lot of motherboards to choose from. For only around $110, the Gigabyte B760M DS3H DDR4 offers everything that a decently priced motherboard should provide. For around $100, you could also go with the MSI Pro B760MP DDR4, which is the cheapest option available that has a high-quality PCB. But compared to the Gigabyte B760M DS3H DDR4, it is barren. The rear I/O on this board is poor. It does not offer Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and the VRMs do not come with any shielding. For a bit more, at around $130, ASRock B760M Pro RS stands out as a solid option. But it is a DDR5 motherboard, which will bring the cost up overall compared to the Gigabyte B760M DS3H DDR4. The ASRock B760M Pro RSD4 supports DDR4, but costs around $150, making it more expensive than its DDR5 counterpart. So when it comes to value for money, the B760M DS3H DDR4 is still a winner. At the end of the day, the Gigabyte B760M DS3H DDR4 taught its competition and manages to strike a perfect balance by giving us everything that we need for a bargain price. The back of the board is a connectivity party with plenty of USB ports, even a speedy USB-C, HDMI, DisplayPort, Wi-Fi 6E, and Bluetooth 5.3. It even breaks the norm with a speedy 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, both M2 slots being PCIe 4.0, CMOS clear, and QFlash buttons. The board's power delivery system is beefed up for the price, meaning smooth sailing for most CPUs, making the B760M DS3H DDR4 an obvious wallet-friendly winner for budget PC builders looking for the perfect budget motherboard to pair their RTX 3060 with. Number 2. ASRock Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi. Best premium Intel motherboard to pair with the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060. The ASRock Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi is a simple board that ticks almost every box. It's a no-frills motherboard focused purely on stability and performance without breaking the bank. This motherboard is a proper upgrade over the ASRock Phantom Gaming Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi. The newer Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi has a 16-phase VRM design instead of 14 phases on the older version. Also, it has built-in Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3 support, which the name obviously implies. With a 16-phase VRM, even under a full-load all-core stress test at 5.5 GHz with a Core i9-14900K, the VRMs barely even hit 60 degrees Celsius. For the I/O, there is the USB 3.2 Gen 2 x 2 Type-C port, 2 3.2 Gen 2 Type-A ports, 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-A, and 1 USB 2.0 Type-A port. There are 3 audio jacks with 7.1 surround sound. We also have a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, Wi-Fi 6E, and Bluetooth 5.3 support, and an HDMI 2.1 port. Sadly, there is no CMOS clear button or BIOS flash button, which is a shame as this board's I/O is otherwise excellent. The best way to describe the design is that it's neat and tidy. ASRock has done a great job laying out the board nicely with ample room between PCIe slots. On the top, there is a single PCIe 4.0 M2 slot, and right underneath it is a PCIe 5.0 x 16 slot for the graphics card. The rest of the PC slots are perfectly spaced apart from one another. When it comes to the competition, the slightly older Asus TUF Z790 Gaming Plus and the MSI Z790 Gaming Pro Wi-Fi are neck and neck with the ASRock Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi. However, the VRM heatsinks on the ASRock Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi are some of the best I have ever seen on any motherboard. The Asus TUF is still an excellent board with its 16-phase VRM, but it is getting more expensive day by day over both the MSI and ASRock. Meanwhile, the MSI Z790 Pro Gaming Wi-Fi is a stellar alternative, but with a 14-phase VRM configuration. To summarize everything, if you need an Intel motherboard that fits the criteria for offering the most stability and features to pair with the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060, then the ASRock Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi covers a lot of ground, and on top of that, its strong 16-phase VRM lets it handle any CPU, even if it's overclocked to the absolute limit without breaking a sweat. Number 1. MSI B760 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi, our top choice. MSI B760 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi is something like a Swiss Army knife in the world of motherboards. Since, while MSI targets this board towards gamers, its nature is more like a budget workstation motherboard. Starting with the VRMs, MSI has done an excellent job. The motherboard has strong VRMs capable of powering Intel 12th to 14th gen CPUs effortlessly. With a 12-phase setup at 60 amp, it can handle even an Intel Core i9-14900K at stock settings. If it weren't a B760 motherboard, I would have comfortably overclocked an i5-14600K beyond 5.3 GHz thanks to the beefy VRM. The strong VRM is coupled with an excellent heatsink that keeps temperatures below 70 degrees Celsius even under heavy all-core loads. The rear I/O is excellent, but I feel there could be some improvements. There are a total of 7 USB ports at the back, with 4 of them being USB 2.0 Type-A ports, which means you won't have to sacrifice faster ports to run peripherals. But then there are just 3 USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, of which 2 are Type-A and 1 is a Type-C port. MSI should have added more USB 3.2 ports, but even with that out of the way, the rest of the I/O is near perfect. You get HDMI 2.1, DisplayPort 1.4, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, 2.5 gigabit Ether LAN, and even a PS2 port for legacy devices. The rear I/O also has a set of 5 audio jacks with an optical SPDIF connected to a mid-range Realtek ALC 897 codec for good quality sound. When it comes to the design, the board has a premium look and feel, but the design itself is quite simple. Personally, I like the design because the simple look helps the motherboard fit in any PC without bringing any attention to itself. If you're a fan of RGB, you can always use the RGB headers to connect as many lights as you'd like. When it comes to the competition, there are plenty of great options to choose from when looking for an affordable motherboard to pair with the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060. The best alternative is probably the Gigabyte B760 Aorus Elite AX, as it offers very similar features to the MSI B760 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. The Aorus Elite AX also has a 12-phase VRM and a couple more USB 3 Type-A ports. But the B760 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi has 5 audio jacks with SPDIF instead of the Aorus Elite that has 2 jacks with SPDIF. Except for that, while the Aorus Elite has 2 more M2 slots, it costs much more than the MSI Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. At that point, it makes more sense to invest in a budget Z790 board instead of a high-end B760 board. In conclusion, the MSI B760 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi wins over all B760 boards in terms of value. You get powerful VRM, plenty of PCIe expansion, and a great I/O to cover all your needs. It is reliable and a very easy motherboard to recommend to anyone who wants to build a powerful Intel Alder Lake or Raptor Lake PC with the Nvidia Geforce RTX 3060 on a budget.